So our group members had made some progress. Initially, we started off with, on a scale of 1 to 5, about 1.5, and ended off with 3. So when we took the lessons and went back home, in terms of assessing our students innovatively, we rated ourselves around 1.5. But we've made some progress now, which is 3. One member, in an attempt to test data collection skills of her students, actually asked them to go out there and speak with people in different, more or less, sectors of the school. So some of them went to the bus stops, some went to the hospital, and applied the skills that they've gotten. And one of the innovative things a student did, when she was asked to find out why a lot of students go to the hospital during exam time, was to join the sick people as a patient, see the doctor, and when she got there, she posed the question to him. So ordinarily, she would have done a questionnaire, etc. But when she was asked to do something from her own view, that was the approach she used. Then learning theories. We definitely saw a lot of our group members using the transformative approaches, and just a few of very minimal with the multiple intelligence. So for the transformative approaches, we do have one member who, in a debate over whether school children should be given school uniforms or not for free, asked the students to begin the debate. So in the middle of the debate, they paused and he showed a video. After watching the video, the students who were arguing against the need to give school children uniforms changed their mind. They got into a dilemma, and because of the influence the video had on them. So through the presentation on the video, the minds of the students were being transformed. In terms of learning theories, as I said, we also saw one professor using the experiential approach. And what he did was to spend very little time when he was teaching econometrics with the theory, and then move the students into a lab which the school has set up, a very modern lab with all the softwares that they need. So the students went in there, and the things that they learned from theory, they applied it using data he had asked them to collect. So through the experience, they were able to do the econometrics work. Then in terms of teaching methods, most members in the economics cluster used e-cases, as I demonstrated above. And the main tools which supported these e-cases were the discussions. After they've watched the e-case, they do discussions, and they also do debates. Some of our team members have, in terms of experience, also gone beyond the usual approaches to the use of WhatsApp. So they've set up a WhatsApp group where some form of discussions and lectures go on. Then pedagogical leadership, one of the interesting things we find in our group, as people tell us, is that now they make the students understand that they are not just there to study, but to study and go and apply. And because of that, they push them to think critically. This critical thinking approach also encourages the students to think about the roles each actor in the political economy plays. Facilitators also encourage behavioral change. So if students thought that everything should come from government, they were now encouraged to understand that there were some of the things in terms of the political economy which should also be promoted by members of the society. So in a broad view, this is how the way we teach has been transformed. So teaching methods, as I suggested, we were doing just about 3/5. Now many of us are doing 4/5. Learning theories, the same. Innovative assessment, yes, it was not very popular, but we see we've crossed the 50% mark. It is the same for the pedagogical leadership. And we are hoping that as we move forward, we can make more progress. So we take a snapshot of how things have changed at the initial stages. That is during September last year, and around January, we take a snapshot, and then finally we take another snapshot in June. If you take a look at it, all the trends point upwards, but definitely there's more room for improvement. We are doing an average of about, let's say, 3.25, so there's more room for improvement when you consider teaching methods, pedagogy, and all that. So we also put the same thing in trend lines, and it's an upward trend. But notice that some of the trends are higher than others, and the question being asked is why we've not been able to bridge those gaps. And if you take a look at what happened this afternoon, especially for issues pertaining to the use of technology, sometimes they are just not there, and when they are there, they don't work. So students getting access to softwares, etc., makes some of the teaching methods very difficult to apply. Were there aha moments? Yes, there were. Master students were excited when their professor gave them the opportunity to engage with PhD students. And what the professor observed was that, so this was something new. What the professor observed was that now the confidence with which the students engaged with her after they had gone to make a presentation to their PhD student has increased. And when they started using the smartphones to engage the professors, that was also an exciting moment for them, because for most of them, WhatsApp and all that was to be used at the friendship level. There were gaps in terms of technology and the tools availability, especially softwares for econometric analysis on the computers of students. The cost of some of them are quite high, Stata especially, but for, how do we call it, SPSS, which is a bit cheaper, quite a number of the students have them. Then, although we've used a lot of these skills, there's still a challenge for the students to understand the quantitative approaches. Mind you, these are students which have been assembled from all different learning areas, and we are pushing them to learn economics. Some way, somehow, it becomes difficult for them. And in our minds, we need to work hard to reduce the complexities associated with our economics and make it accessible to even English students who want to do public policy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's give them a better clap, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are the Sociology group, and we put together something where a number of us, I'll ask them probably to introduce themselves. Just mention your names, please. Okay, and Monica, yes, and
Amfumi.
Exactly. So me and Amfumi are going to represent the rest. We decided to make our work easier by using the SWOT: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We thought that would bring our minds into kind of order. So we looked at our strength in our pedagogical journey. We all shared and then came up with what we had. All techniques were applied. The various techniques we've been learning in pedagogy, they were all applied. So that's a strength. What we realize is that these techniques enhance deeper learning because it's beyond a lecturer standing in class to present and involves the students. It is student-learner centered, meaning the students take the first place. So they learn and they're involved in the learning process. Student involvement is enhanced. It's transformative for both lecturer and student. Now, these pedagogical skills and techniques, they don't only enhance the student, but the lecturer also is challenged to be able to go and think of innovative ways in which he or she can come and teach the students. So there is a transformation in both the students and the lecturers. So those are the strengths that we got. Then challenges, we could use weaknesses, but we don't want it to seem like it's really weak. But challenges that we have faced, inefficient technology, poor Wi-Fi. We realized that actually there's a challenge with Wi-Fi everywhere. We are representatives from University of Dar es Salaam, Uganda Christian University, and University of Ibadan.
And University of Lagos.
And University of Lagos. Thank you, Professor. Yes, so we actually realized everybody was mentioning the same weakness: poor Wi-Fi, internet facilities, lack of sufficient projectors, and if they are there, they are not even working. Lack of sockets in the halls where this should be taking place. And then we also realized infrastructure challenges, architecture of the room. Now, not all rooms are able to cater for, these various pedagogical methodologies. We find some rooms, for example, in the University of Ibadan, they have the chairs and infrastructure are fixed. Yeah, and then there's also initial student resistance to this teaching technology. We find the students have been resistant, and there's also lack of consistent power supply. So I'll ask my colleague to continue with this. We don't have so much time.
So. We spent very little time on this, and then you explain that.
The graph, eh?
Okay.
Then we can explain.
Opportunities, they're there. We have the opportunities to use these skills at other master's programs. And for some people, you can even cascade to the undergraduate programs. Then institutional support from the university administration, partnership with other related bodies, and we can also collaborate with other universities. We see as threats lack of institutional support. If you have a situation where there's also reduced funding, either from PASGR or other funders, and where even trainees who are here are not sufficiently motivated with incentives, we went ahead to make recommendations. And some of the recommendations are that we should harmonize levels of trainings, with university staff, so that you don't have just some set of people being trained all the time. We need also to have intergenerational consideration, so that when older people retire, there will have been sufficiently trained younger persons to take it up from there. And then other universities have to have their staff trained. For example, with the University of Ibadan, had a critical mass of its personnel trained. But that is not the same for other universities. It's important. There are improvements of infrastructure. The recommendations are targeted at different actors. Everything is not for PASGR. There are those for governments of institutions. There are those that are for universities. Internet needs to be improved, facilities, other facilities like cameras, projectors, and so on. Other staff also need to mobilize other institutions, and then deeper collaboration. Then we'll move on to the graph. We selected 3 goals. Out of the goals presented, we have constructive alignment, speaking specifically about course outlines. Then the second goal is the use of interactive methods of teaching. We deliberated and we all agree that people have seen the training and are using video clips, case studies, simulations, and others. And then number 3, innovative methods of assessment. Now, if you look at the graph, the black is used to show the constructive alignment. By August 2018, when those who came for the training were here, they were not exactly on 0. Some had been using some, looking at the course outlines and reviewing them. It was at 1. And consistently, even though it hasn't been going on very well, but as it is now, in terms of constructive alignment, we're somewhere around 3, over 5. And then the second one is interactive methods. For the interactive methods, people were not exactly on zero because some were already using group methods, some were already using group presentation,
Case studies.
some case studies and so on. But it was slightly about maybe 0.5 or so. But it has been embraced so seriously, and now we have between 4 and 5.
Yeah.
It's not exactly 100%. And then for the innovative methods of assessment, that also people were not on exactly zero, somewhere between 0 and 1 in August. But by now, a lot of people have embraced the innovative methods of assessment, and we're somewhere between 3 and 4 in June 2019.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much. I think that deserve a better clap. Thank you.
We are coming to you live from Mombasa, Kenya, and we are still covering the Pedagogical Leadership Annual Convening and the MRPP Week. And we have spent 3 days in Mombasa. We have been looking at a series of issues concerning pedagogical leadership in Africa. And we have some of our participants here with us. We want to listen to them, take their views and then the outcomes of this training and basically what they will be doing when they return to their universities. You are welcome to AAU TV. Rob.
Thank you very much.
Great. So you tell us your name, your institution, and then your portfolio in your institution as well.
Well, my name is Lucky Igono. I am a faculty officer, Faculty of the Basic Medical Sciences, Faculty of the Social Sciences, the Social Sciences, University of Ibadan, Nigeria.
Great. And so I believe this is not your first time joining PEDAL.
Oh yes, I was in Nairobi in 2018. Okay. Yes.
In 2018, were you at Ibadan?
I was at Ibadan, but I came to Nairobi then.
Okay. So this is your third session. Second session. All right. So let me find out from you, what has been the journey from you, right from the first session, the second session, and then today?
Well, like I said, this is my second session. The first session was, I realized that PEDAL was quite interested in ensuring that there's a systemic change in teaching and learning in Africa, and that teaching and learning should be made more interesting by both the teachers and also the learners, that is, students. And then I think this time around, with my experience, PEDAL is trying to see if there has been any change, any improvement. A year ago, where we are, they want to see if there has been any change. And I'm happy to tell you that there has been a good change. All
right, so tell us the change. That is the most important thing to us. What has changed over the years and what is new now?
Well, I can speak for my own institution, though there are some other African universities that are here represented. From my experience, my own institution in Ibadan, Nigeria, this change has actually been adopted by some faculties now. And they have actually changed their way of, we have actually changed. We have moved from the old ways and now adopting the PEDAL training model.
Yeah, so we want people who don't know PEDAL to know what has actually been the change. So if you say the old ways and then the new ways, what specifically has changed?
One, in terms of e-learning, e-learning has now been adopted by these institutions, especially Ibadan, where teachers, lecturers teach the students technologically. And also the students will learn through e-learning. That is, you don't have to be based in one class setting. You can teach your student online. They give you feedback online. And even you can even examine them. And which makes it very, very interesting and easy to use. So for me, I think it's a very good development.
All right, so let's still base on the e-learning which you are talking about. Assuming one day you wake up, you enter your lecture theater and your students are not there and they prefer that you go the e-way, what will be your reaction? And then again, if they want to submit assignments through their emails, they want to submit assignment through WhatsApp, what will be your reaction as a lecturer?
Well, like I said, I'm not a lecturer. I'm an administrator. Of course, we work hand in hand. And because my role is to ensure that all these things are well put in place. So I cannot actually divorce myself from the teaching learning situation because I'm in the system. We ensure that all these things are put in place properly and also followed, which you may call due process. But the truth of the matter is that I cannot pretend not to know that this great change has actually occurred. And then my point of view is quite clear. If lecturers teach students, we're in the 21st century, and we have to flow with the modern trends in the even Western world. We are now in a situation whereby teachers are not expected to just come to class, give outline, talk, and go away. No, that is archaic. Now, students even know more than their teachers. So this is why teachers must fall in line. That is, they must be compliant technologically. You see, now you can ask your students to go online, get information, and not just coming to them to say blah, 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 blah. Before you come to teach, they would have already been well grounded in what you want to teach them. And so it becomes something like an interactive session. We're not just coming to tell them what you know or what you think they should know. But now you want to learn together. You want to flow. So it's more of the ideal day system of teaching, which is a far departure from what it used to be. For me, like I said, I'm not a teacher. I think it's very good.
All right, so you spent 3 days here. What is your take home to Ibadan?
For me, I would say...
Especially your aha moment.
Aha moment. It's to me, it's more challenging. I see it as a challenging moment for me because we can do more. The gaps can actually be filled by doing more. The journey so far, and then where we want to be, probably next year, God willing, what we'll be able to say to give results. Because from my observation since I came, most of these institutions have actually recorded significant level of progress in terms of their teaching and learning situations. And then one question that will come to mind is, these teachers, how can this pedal thing contribute to their own personal development? Of course, you cannot give what you don't have. And this brings up the issue of having to assess the teachers in terms of promotion. Because that means teaching will now be part of the assessment for promotion. Even students can now have the opportunity to assess their teachers. And vis-a-vis, teachers too will now be able to know how they stand. Because now, like I said, we are no longer in that old age of you just coming to class, dole things out for students to learn. No! This time around, you come together. You discuss together, you learn together. You go online, you have access to information. In fact, the other good aspect of this is that you can even invite guest lecturers to participate in your teaching. You can do video conferencing or what have you in such a way that the students feel so good that, this is a new way of learning. And consciously and unconsciously, they are imbibing those cultures. And you see, the other good aspect of it is that once these students go through this experience, this will even make life very, very easy for them. Because by then, they would have also adopted new strategies, technologies, and even new ways of conceptualizing all these issues.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Great.